Work is a very important part of the life for many people, no matter it is to pursue a career or just make a living. We have spent the majority of our time at workplace. Well, were there any moments have you ever questioned, can my boss do that? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Melisandra. In today's video, I will share with you guys some points on what your rights are as employees at workplace. And keep watching to learn about what your employer is not allowed to do. Before starting my topic, we should be aware that not all workplace laws apply to every business and employees. It is possible for some business to be exempt from some regulations, and managers' rights might be different from hourly workers. In addition, state laws might vary. However, generally speaking, here are 10 things your boss cannot legally do. 1. Ask prohibited questions on job application.
Good morning, my name is Melisandra. Thanks very much for giving me this interview opportunity. I'm really excited about it. Please, here is my resume.
Good morning, welcome to our office. Seems you have an interesting background and rich working experience. That's amazing. Let me start with a few questions. How old are you? Do you live with your family? Are you single or married? Do you have any kids? Any plans to get pregnant soon?
Does employer really allow to ask me that?
There are employers who may break the law before they even hire you. Laws enacted by the EEOC prohibit a dozen different types of discrimination. In most cases, employers cannot use these factors as part of the hiring decisions or even ask about them during the interviews. In other words, you cannot be asked about your age, marriage status, religion, or plans to become pregnant on a job application. 2. Disallow you to discuss your salary with your coworkers. Your boss may not want you to compare salaries or benefits with your coworkers, but they cannot stop you from doing so. There are cases that employees have been terminated for setting up Facebook groups and discussing compensation. However, trying to quash these discussions, either in person or online, can be seen as an illegal attempt to prevent workers from organizing or unionizing. Beyond violating the NLRA, prohibiting salary discussion can be problematic when it comes to gender equality laws. That's because there is no way for employees to gauge wage equality with coworkers if they cannot discuss their compensation. 3. Not pay you overtime or minimum wage. Employee compensation is not a simple matter. Either it's up to the employers. There are laws that govern how people get paid. The rules on overtime are straightforward. The Fair Labor Standards Act requires employers to pay non-exempt employees overtime wage when they exceed 40 hours of week in a single work week. Some states have more restrictive laws on the books. Alaska, California, and Nevada requires overtime pay for those working more than 8 hours per day. Meanwhile, hourly pay must meet minimum wage standards. While the federal minimum wage is currently $7.25 per hour, many states and even some cities have higher requirements. Employers cannot get around paying the minimum wage by paying with tips or commissions either. You cannot have a commission standard that pays less than federal minimum wage. 4. Picturing future, promise a job to an unpaid intern. Companies may try to entice interns with the promise of a paying job at the end of the internship. However, doing so could have an employer running afoul of federal and state minimum wage laws. Rather than being a learning experience for a student, the internship could be viewed as an unpaid and illegal training period. 5. Discriminate against workers. The EEOC prohibits discrimination against workers on the basis of 8 broad categories: race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, disability, and genetic information. That means none of these factors, known as protected classes, should be used when making employment decisions, such as hiring, setting compensation, and awarding promotions. The number of the protected classes has grown During the last decade, many states have their own expanded list of protected classes. For example, marriage status and political affiliation are among the protected classes in California, while Florida prohibits discrimination against someone based on their AIDS, HIV status. 6. Allow you to work off the clock. Non-exempt employees who are covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act cannot be asked to do work off the clock. For instance, workers cannot be required to do pre-work or clean up outside their paid shifts. What's more, employers should be worried about any request to be paid in cash or off the books. Employers can get in serious trouble for failing to withhold payroll taxes, and they could also be on the hook for other penalties if the employees file complaints saying they were not properly paid. 7. Fire someone after papering their personnel file. This occurs when an employer suddenly files a number of complaints against an employee immediately before terminating them. Papering a file isn't illegal of itself. However, if workers claim they were unlawfully terminated, a recent influx of complaints could reflect poorly on an employer. Even if it's accurate and true, it lacks credibility. As employment attorneys, they usually need to see a thick file of documentation from the employer clients. But it can be a problem if the manager haven't been consistently documenting their work. 8. Classify you as an independent contractor, but treat you like an employee. Hiring independent contractors instead of employees is one way businesses can keep costs down. It allows them to avoid paying benefits as well as some employment taxes. However, businesses may classify workers as independent contractors when they are actually employees. Essentially, if a company dictates when and how you work, you are definitely an employee. 9. Discipline you for complaining about work on social media. Under the NLRA, employees are given wide latitude to talk about their employers publicly, including on social media. That's because trying to curtail worker communication can be seen as an illegal attempt to prevent them from unionizing or organizing. For example, if an employee is complaining on Facebook about how his or her employer doesn't provide enough restroom break time, this may be protected activity under the NLRA. Therefore, employers should proceed with caution. If disciplining or discharging an employee because of a social media post complaining about pay or working conditions, still, employees shouldn't feel emboldened to say anything they want online. Threats of violence, harassing behavior, and maliciously false statements could be grounds for discipline or dismissal from the job. 10. Turning a blind eye to a hostile workplace. An employer has an obligation to ensure its workplace is a safe environment and that worker complaints are handled in an appropriate manner. Some states also require companies to provide sexual harassment training to workers or supervisors. Above are the 10 things I want to share with you guys which your boss cannot do. If you are uncomfortable with a co-worker's behavior or believe your employer is breaking a workplace law, the first step is to contact your supervisor or human resource department. Look into your employee handbook and see if there is a complaint process. If your HR department cannot solve the issues, the next step may be to file an administrative complaint with the appropriate agency. Complaints about discrimination should be filed with the EEOC. Violations of the NLRA can be filed with the National Labor Relations Board, and which issues may be addressed by state labor offices. Most of these agencies have online reporting option. However, be aware it can take 6 months to a year for your matter to be heard, depending on the agency. And another option is to contact a private employment attorney. This attorney can take civil action against an employer, which could lead to changes in the workplace, as well as monetary restitution. Some attorneys may offer free consultation and work on a contingency basis. so you may not have upfront costs for representation. Okay guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please, you can encourage me with the like button. If you like my contents, please subscribe for more future videos. I will see you next time.